All right. Good morning, everyone. How we doing? It's Wednesday, August 27th. Taking a look at NQ. Yesterday closed as the second consecutive inside day. Price has yet to leave Friday's range. Still right there in Friday's range. Taking a look at your 5 minute RTH chart, regular trading hours chart, you can see, maybe you can't see. There you go. Now you can see. You can see price still within Friday's expansion day. This is typical volatility, expansion and contraction, price expansion and contraction. When you have a big expansion move, it's common that you see some compression, that you see a little bit of slowness, a little bit of choppiness. That's the normal way, normal cyclical nature in which price moves. Where traders tend to get in trouble is after a big expansion day like we saw on Friday. They're expecting some continuation, which definitely can happen. That can happen. We saw an incident of that last week, but like I had mentioned last week, that's actually not the norm. That is not the norm. That is not all that common that you'll see back to back trend days lower, and even that one on Wednesday ended up retracing more than 70% there. So this is more typical of what you'll see. Big expansion day and then some compression. You'll see like a trend move and then some range. There's a lot of different terms to basically explain the exact same thing within price: expansion, trend, and then compression or range, whatever you want to call it. Balance, imbalance for the volume profile guys. Same thing. All of these terms describe the exact same thing within price. This is actually, when I started to discover this, this is what made me focus on a more simplistic approach, because I started to study a few different schools of thought as it relates to price action. I was like, oh, all of these schools are using the exact same concepts with different terminology. It's all the same thing. So once you start to understand that, it's like, oh, we can really simplify our approach here. Anyway, NQ still within that prior day's range during the overnight session here. One of the main areas I'm going to be focused on is how price responds to this area of resistance right through there. That's the 650 level of interest, prior day high zone. Friday's highs right through there as well. We can see it's already being rejected during this overnight session. We're back into the weekly volume point of control right through here. This is potentially a third day of some range trading. We'll see. I have no crystal ball, but what I would like to see for today primarily is how price responds to the edge points of yesterday's range, of Tuesday's range. And 550 is kind of in the middle of yesterday's range, right? We do have prior day volume point of control right through there as a reference point. That's not really an area that I like to set risk against, but nonetheless, that's where price currently is. So if this is a range, if we're treating this like a range right here, then basically when it gets to the edge, what's the expectation? We'll return to the mid where value is, and potentially down into the low, right? TBD. Currently in the midpoint. That's my, when price is in a range, regardless of time frame, that's my least favorite area to be getting involved. So it's likely going to be, at least for me personally, a slow open. No intention of any trades off the open. That's for sure. My preference is to either see the 23,500 level of interest, but ideally I would love to see those edge points, prior day low or prior day high, being tested. That would be my preference. Taking a look at the economic calendar today, is pretty dry. We do have some FOMC speaker later, Fed speaker later. FOMC member Barkin is speaking at 11:45, and then the big one for today is Nvidia earnings after the bell. That tends to be market moving. I think last time I checked, Nvidia's the heaviest weighted stock in NQ. That may have changed recently, but it's usually Nvidia or Apple or something. So think it's still Nvidia. So if you get an outsized move in Nvidia, you can definitely see that NQ, that QQQ putting in a move. Then tomorrow, GDP, I'm pretty sure, and Friday, PCE and MCS. So it's been a slow start to the week. Range bound trading, back to back inside days, very choppy conditions, things we've talked about at length for the past 2 days, simply because these are harder conditions. If it's choppy, if it's slower, these are tougher conditions. Chop tends to beat traders up. It definitely has. I've lost plenty and plenty and plenty of money to chop. At some point, at some point, you just decide, all right, the chop is not worth it. What can I do to make sure I'm staying out of the chop? And that's what I try and relay to you guys, try and help out. So we've got 1 minute till the open here. NQ is at 23,540. The overnight low is just pressing lower and lower and lower. We'll see how 23,500 is going to be treated, and then the prior day low. All right, let's see this open. Let's see that open right now. There's your open. Very small gap lower. Some decent volume there ahead of the bell, following that rejection from the key area of resistance, and then some decent volume off the open here. Let's see if it can actually hold. Let's see if it can stick. Down through overnight low. We're getting into 500, getting close. Getting close. What's up, Dom? Welcome back, man. We thought you threw in the towel. RTY on its own this morning. Nice spring setup in RTY. And Q, a little retest of session highs right there. Opening 5-minute bar closes in 1 minute. And volume just falls right off. There's your opening 5-minute closure. NQ new high of day. Very slightly. RTY vertical. Russell just vertical. Chrissy, you got to post in the giveaway section, man. Oh goodness. And Q, little barcode off the open. Staying patient. RTY into prior day high. Ray, you long RTY, man? Oh, okay. Okay. I was about to say, you don't need to see a write-up on that one. All right, NQ back in overnight low. See if 500 can trade. 500, ideally prior day low. Oh, just holds overnight low. Session volume point of control shifts lower, 554. $450 at 10 a.m. 427 at 10 a.m. Chrissy. 426.75 actually. Oh no, you lost me there. No. Yeah, that's right. Below 500, go for prior day low. Yep. RTY just still going. I wonder if Mish caught that RTY. .41 range. Almost 15 minutes into the morning. NQ with a nice 41 range. All right, here we go. Let's see if we get some action now. NQ into the lows. New low of day, NASDAQ. Don't forget lean hogs, Gabe. That's why Dom hasn't been around. He had to take delivery, physical delivery on lean hogs. RTY, my goodness. RTY, that's Friday's high, Ray. Respecting the daily structure quite nicely. Wow. Like right through there. ES just in no man's land here. And NQ, new low of day, coming into 500. I'll keep an eye on 500, but I'm more interested in prior day low. Let's see. It's a pre 10 a.m. directional weakness, right? If you're in the traders think tank, if you're in the TMG, you know. A little uptick in volume. And new low of day. All right, let's see that prior day low. What do we say it was? 427. Yeah. ES is still up near session highs. So NQ just on its own this morning with a little bit of weakness. RTY, fresh highs, man. That thing is unstoppable. Wow. Decent little bounce there versus 500. I tried it with lighter size, not a full size trade. We'll trail 518 here. Just go bar by bar as we get into overnight low. Wow, Trade Sinker is actually working properly for once. That's beautiful. There's the trail. Sheesh. All right, we'll take it. What is that, 10 points? 10 yoints, NQ right back into the lows. That's why you trail right there. That's why we set them, yes, sir. Yeah, that slippage was not nice. So yeah, I ate about 4, 5 points of slippage right there as well. Now I'll wait for 10 a.m. and prior day low, 10 till 10. NQ new low of day. Sellers reloaded at overnight low. I mean, we knew that one was a little dicier pre 10 a.m. So walking away green from that is just the dub. That idea there is that's a basic level of interest, intraday reversal. Pretty simple. Price comes into 23,500. You see some buyers step in, you just join them. Not trying to be the first one in. I'll just let someone else kind of mark the low, jump in with them, see if you get the reversal there. If not, trail tight. Trail tight. Like those reversals primarily after 10 a.m. That's kind of what we were talking about. Let's start the morning with a dub. And while we wait for 10 a.m., just going to go ahead and log that in the journal, start getting some notes down. You only trade one NQ, Gabe. I would much rather trade 10 micros. You're going to pay more in fees, no doubt about it. It's usually the counter argument, but I like to be able to manage the trade. I like to be able to lock some profits in, reduce risk, scale out into strength, and you just with one lot, you just cannot do that. You're very, very limited. But that's just my preference. I know a lot of traders love to just trade the one NQ. They don't do as well with the 10 micros. So you got to kind of figure out, what works better with your style and your personality type. I like the freedom. If I'm deciding between one NQ and 10 micros, it's 10 micros all day long. NQ with a little intraday spring setup here at the level of interest. That was arguably the better trade there. The shakeout, the trap. Now, if they break 530, probably see a true test of overnight low. Then maybe session volume point of control. We'll see. How are we doing on time? 6 minutes till 10 a.m. No data or anything. Keep an eye on that 15-minute bar, currently shaped like a hamski. There you go. There's the spring setup into some intraday structure. Good spot to trim if you caught that. Yeah, that was the better trade. That was the better trade. The trap after the reversal. Beautiful. I missed it. I missed it. Dang. Gabe, you caught that. Dom, you caught that. Nice work. Nice work. And sellers right back in it at the overnight low. Right back in it. Staying patient right now. Staying patient. Next trade will probably come post 10 a.m. RTY finally pulling back. Prior day value area low. Right there, helping to support this thing. So far, we're just 1 for 1 on the morning. Tried that intraday reversal at 23,500. Missed the spring setup. Light morning so far. NQ still within the prior day's range. Previous to that, we had 2 consecutive inside days. All right, 10 a.m. is behind us. NQ still right here at the overnight low. Volumes below average. So far, we've had a bounce versus 23,500 level of interest. Check out that higher time frame. Still a big rejection from that circled area. So we want to keep an eye on the 15-minute, 30-minute, hourly. 15-minute currently shows a hammer. Like to see if that can show some follow through above basically 543, 23,543. A little confirmation of that hammer. If not, I'll still be looking at prior day low. So if the bot has done anything this morning, I doubt it. Yeah, NQ flat. The bot is flat. All right, all right. NQ a little look above that consolidation there, and it's right back into it. It's that little consolidation station. Session volume point of control still overhead, aligned with VWAP. Best setup so far this morning was that spring. That spring was beautiful. Well done if you caught the spring. Yeah, Dom. Same page, sir. Same page. Prior day low would be nice. May not see it. I'm keeping an eye on a 15-minute right now. So we get some follow through on this. Wouldn't mind seeing volume point of control shift lower. That would be ideal as well. Look at volume though. It's like 30% of average, 30, 40% of average. NQ into session volume point of control. Yeah, you got VWAP right there near your session highs. One trade so far this morning. One trade, one trade. Keep in mind context. NQ is still within the prior day's range. Are we going to see the third consecutive inside day today? Just ahead of NVIDIA earnings and GDP tomorrow? What's the magic 8 ball say? ES pretty steady into session highs. It's coming into prior day high. RTY still working on that pullback. Yeah, there's a snoozer so far. No doubt about it. Look at this volume. There's just no audience here. This black line shows historical average at the same time of day. So this line kind of tracks historical average at the exact same time of day. That's not a moving average there. And here's where we're currently at. So your average is here at 1.8K. And we currently have 840 contracts trading per minute. Terrible. That's terrible. ES in the prior day high. RTY, nice bounce versus prior day high. Thought it'd retrace a little bit deeper there. That RTY. Look at ES up through prior day high. Was that an inside day as well? Let's double check. Yeah, for the most part, inside day there on ES. All right, here's NQ, new high of day. Little uptick in volume. Spring setup at the level of interest marked the low this morning. Not really seeing a re-entry that I loved. So just got to let that one go. More interesting zone will be that 23,600 area with prior day high into near-term resistance. It's kind of your intraday fib. What's interesting though is that 15-minute did show good follow through, right? Hammer, confirm the hammer through the high. It's getting more interesting here. Prior day high incoming 23,600 is your weekly open. See how that prior day high is going to be treated. Still just with my one trade on the morning. Little baby intraday reversal versus 500. Tad too early. Should have gone for the spring. Did not grab it and have not seen a re-entry since then. The reason I didn't grab the spring is because I wanted to wait for 10 a.m. Had mentioned that time of day was not ideal for my system, so that's how it goes sometimes. Not going to chase it higher. Not going to revenge trade. Just going to let it go and wait for the next A plus opportunity. Very, very simple. Speaking of ducks, Mr. Ray, we have the Take Profit Trader account giveaway currently live in the Traders Think Tank. If you want to enter to win one of two 50K Take Profit Trader accounts, let's see how many entries there are so far. There's only 33 entries. You have actually 32. No, make that 31 because I have a couple comments in here. And of course, I'm not entering. So there's 31 entries. That's pretty good odds to win. One entry per person, two accounts being given away. We're going to have the duck race live on Friday on stream. So if you want to enter to win, here's the link. All you have to do is comment on that post. You must be an active Traders Think Tank member. Trial accounts are valid. So you could just sign up for a trial, enter the giveaway if you want. But that's this Friday live on stream. 50K Take Profit Trader account giveaway. In my opinion, the best prop firm out there. Go comment on the post, get entered to win. I think it was it was Gabe and Dean B, the winners from the last giveaway. May the fastest duck win. Hope you guys have been training. NQ, there's your new high of day. You're getting into prior day high, getting into that overnight high area. Let's see if that inside day break is going to trigger. Almost 1 hour into the session. So we have that new 30-minute bar starting up here in a few minutes. So NQ is getting into this key area right through here. I thought we may see a move into kind of that near-term range low, like kind of through here, prior day low area. That's what we were talking about at the start of the stream. If you were with us then, kind of down into this, essentially down into this area. Maybe, oh, where's the marker? There we go. Right through here, but buyers like the 500. So level of interest for a reason. Higher time frame structure. So 500 gets bought up. Now we're back into this area. And yesterday was an inside day. So we're looking to see if that inside day is going to trigger a break or if sellers are going to be defending this kind of red shaded area here. You have a level of interest. Friday's high is going to be significant. And then 2 consecutive inside days, their highs are clearly right through here, right? So sellers definitely want to see this area defended. Whether or not they are successful, TBD. No crystal ball on my end. So let's see. Let's see if we do see a daily close above 650, that's going to shift the near-term backdrop back into bullish from neutral. FYI. Hawkeye's asking about the risk to reward of the 2-hour trader framework. It's not a set risk to reward. It is purely dependent on the setup. Sometimes it's 1 to 1, sometimes it's 8 to 1, sometimes it's 5 to 1. It really is entirely dependent on what the setup shows. What the average is depends on the instrument that you're talking about. Depends on if you're looking at NQ, ES, RTY, stocks in play. THT, I don't trade it as much anymore personally because I have it fully automated now. So I let the bot do all the THT trades. Then I can focus on intraday reversals, spring setups, market structure, base plays. So I got the automation to trade all of the 2-hour trader framework entries. That's currently set up in NQ. Later today, it's going to be set up in RTY. We'll get it going in RTY. If you guys are interested in the automation, the pre-launch is this Tuesday. Let me post a link. There's the link. But yeah, that 2-hour trader framework, that is still one of the easiest money plays to master. Far more easy than a spring setup, far more easy than an intraday reversal, I'll tell you that. NQ new hive day. Here's prior day high. Here's your prior day high. Focus more on win rate, Gabe. Yeah, when I did the light back testing for the 2-hour trader when I was first setting up the automation, it was like 18 months ago now. 955 trades on NQ. The hit rate was something like 74%, long and short. It's pretty good. Pretty good if you ask me. And then with you could actually do a little bit better with a little bit of discretionary approach. That is one of the advantages of being a discretionary trader. The bot just slaps everything no matter what. So there are definitely some advantages to being a discretionary trader, but one of the drawbacks is you actually have to be at the desk. Yeah, you actually have to place the trades. The nice thing about the automation is it's not signals, it's direct to the broker. So it's fully automated. It's not just generating signals that you then have to execute. It's fully automated. Hands-free. That was the goal. Benny, you're on there, man. On what platform? Click the link, man. Click the link. Like, geez. You guys are wild. Here's all the info. Click the link. Right there. Yeah, Benny, you're good. Rest of the lifetime members, most of you guys are in there from very, very early. Very, very early. I think Dez is like number 1 or 2. I'd have to check. So Dez is going to be first up. Dez, you in here? Chrissy, I'm gonna ban you, man. Yeah, first three: Dez, Timmy, and Ray. Ray, Timmy beat you by an entire day, man. And then it's D-Wall. So look at the consolidation here, just shy of prior day high. Session volume point of control shifts to that point. Chrissy's taking off, so we may see the inside day break right now. Perfect timing. ES broke overnight high, broke prior day high. RTY getting a little bit more of a pullback now into that 50% fib, VWAP area. See if we get the break in the next 20 minutes or so. How's everyone's morning? How's it looking? I'm still just with one trade. A measly 10 points, 10, 15 points. Two, Gabe, you got the 500? I think you did the reversal in the spring, right? Albert, 0 for 2. What'd you hit? We could either look for a retest or higher low after the break of the prior day high. I'd like to see so prior day highs in very close proximity to the overnight high. My personal preference is for a price to clear all of this red zone. Anytime I put like a red zone like this on my chart, it's for my own sake, a visual reminder that this is a resistance zone. And personally, I want to be very careful with any sort of micro pullbacks or microstructure base setups in that area. There's your new high of day. Can it hold? Can it hold? So far, the best setup was the spring. I agree. What happened? Was that guy spamming? Spams a lot. Dom, you still in that long? Wow, Dom's getting paid right now. Up thrust is just a spring, but bearish. Same thing. So if you invert the chart here, what would this be? If this was prior day low instead of prior day high, call that a spring, right? Yeah, all that resistance through there. ES pulling back as well into that prior day high. Let's take a look at that intraday fib here. So fib buy zones down there back near prior day volume point of control, overnight low. It's holding up decently well up here. You need a lower high right here, Dom. See if this ES play can hold on. Prior day high long. Shifted the trail right into profit already. Like to target session highs. Here comes the trail. Well, if that's it, that's a light day. It's been a light week, but Friday, we got to remember Friday was a monster day. So ebb and flow. What are you going to do? So the idea there on ES, let's flip over to it. Little pullback right into prior day high. There's my trail. Got trailed out. Call it a scalp. 2 points. Just taking what I can get this morning. So 2 for 2. Scalp on ES, scalp on NQ. Very limited volume today. Look at this volume. 50% of average. I may have been taken out to the tick right there. Yep. Yep. RTY catching a nice lift here. Talk about a 2-hour trader framework, RTY, with overnight high, prior day high right in that area. Gabe, you got that? Let me see if the bot picked that one up. Yeah, it did. Okay, nice. Beautiful. Beautiful. Love that, Gabe. That's a good way to reduce over trading right there. Nice work. ES pushing into session highs. I got trailed a tad too early. Trailed to the tick. It's all good. See if we could find one more setup around 11 a.m. if possible. Oh, buyers just stepped in on NQ versus the shallow fib. And there's ES into the highs. There's your target, Nicole, if you're still in. Nice. Nice play. So for ES, that was a pretty standard market structure based entry at the prior day high. Des, you got the RTY long. Nice. Not bad. Patience pays on a slow day. Patience pays. All right, focus on NQ into 11 a.m. And we're still watching prior day high, overnight high zone. Let's double check higher time frames. So this is like the fourth test of this area in the past few days. Pretty significant sell there. Pretty significant sell there. This one. Decent. And we're back into that area. Knocking on that resistance. Knock, knock. RTY really nice. Coming into some intraday structure. This is typically an area where I'd trim a little personally and then try and hold the rest for the highs. I always like to pay attention to that intraday structure. Look at the 5 minute. That was beautiful right there. See what the bot is doing. Yeah, the bot would have, it's not, RTY is not plugged into the broker, but it would have already trimmed 2/3 of the position and coming for PT3 now. That's like nearly a textbook play there for the 2-hour trader framework on RTY. Look at that push. Dez. Dez is smiling right now. Gabe, you still in there? Still holding. Nice work, man. You had the 50% fib as well. Oh, man. I know Rain Man's going to be studying that trade later. Wow. That's nice. Back to NQ. Retesting prior day high. Going to be studying setting alerts. So personally, 2 for 2 on the morning. We did the ES right through there. Of course, trailed to the tick, unfortunately. But we added a couple points on the morning. And then we had the NQ long down near 500 it was. Let's see that one. Here it is. It's been a pretty slow morning. Could not find a re-entry in that NQ other than the spring, which I decided to pass on based on time of day. So that is what it is, right? If the market moves and you have no setup, you have no setup. You can't force anything. Well, I mean, you can. You can force all the trades you want, but that's not going to it's not going to get you your desired outcome over the long term. Probably one of the easiest trades this morning. Easiest, keyword easiest, is that RTY 2-hour trader entry. I have to look at that one tomorrow in the mentorship group call. All right, NQ unable to make a fresh high there. See if Dom ends up getting paid here. Coming back in a shallow fib. Oh, a little blip there on some volume. All right, it might just be time to call it. Might be that time. All right, Ray, take care, man. Nicely done this morning. ES just made a new high of day. Yeah, RTY just inching towards the session highs there. There's a nice little micro structure there if you need a spot to lift your trail. If you're riding that RTY trade still. I'd like to see how this consolidation breaks. Does flip from red to green. Nicely done. Shut it down now. That's always a good point to be shutting it down. Going from red to green, and then the mentality shifts to, well, let me just see if I can hit my daily goal now. Next thing you know, back to red. Back to red. I've been I've been there plenty of times. That is not fun. Surprised how well this consolidation's holding here. You would expect that sellers step in more aggressively here, considering that higher time frame resistance, but all of that supply is just being absorbed. I'm going to shut it down. We'll keep it going in the traders think tank here, but this is pretty much like watching paint dry, so there's no need to be on stream. What I like to see and what I'm focused on for the rest of this morning is how price responds and continues to develop near that prior day high, overnight high, and 650 level of interest area. Red zone right through here. The red zone. On my end, it was just two small scalps today, both longs, one NQ in 20 at 23,500 intraday reversal down through there. And then we had the ES trade, of course, the pullback to the prior day high. Light day, but we'll take it. We'll take it, right? You can't control what the market gives you. All you can do is respond, trade accordingly. This, based on current action, looks like we're going to have our third consecutive inside day here. unless we see a late day breakout of this consolidation, this kind of late morning consolidation here. It's possible. Definitely possible. But we do have Nvidia earnings after the bell. That's market morning. Whoa, market moving for Nasdaq. And then tomorrow morning, I think we have GDP. So we'll see if we get a bit more volatility here. Thank you guys for your time. Hope you had a profitable session. And if you did not, I hope you at least followed your rules. Hope you respected your system. Remember, if you respected your system, if you followed your rules, you had a good trading day. We can only control what we can control. We can't control the outcome of any trade. It's not in our hands, right? So respect your rules, follow your system. And if you have edge, if you have long-term edge in that system, you'll be making money over a large enough sample size of trades. That's the idea. We'll keep it going in the think tank, like I said. Otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Have a great rest of your day.